Kill those 2 men! Nothing in the world can stop me now!
Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's Scott here, and today we will be doing a review on the Underwater Menace, which I originally watched at the BFI for the animation release, and great animation, but not so much a great story. So before we get into that, let's just tell you some things about the production, the actors. So that in the Doctor in the story is Patrick Troughton. We have Ben, Polly and Jamie. So Ben Jackson is Michael Craze. I think it's just Polly, or is it Polly Wright? Annika Wills. And Jamie McCrimmon is Fraser Hines, and this was Fraser Hines' second story after the Highlanders, and the Highlanders is actually completely missing. But episode 1, its original air date was the 14th of January 1967, which means it was the first full story in 1967, not the first story, because that would be the Highlanders, because first episode would have aired on the 1st, I think. And the UK million views at 8.3, and within the archive only some fragments exist. Episode 2 aired on the 21st of January 1967. Its viewers were 7.5 million, and a 16mm video is there. Episode 3 was on the 28th of January 1967. That had 7.1 viewers, and it's 16mm tape. Episode 4 was the 4th of February 1967, and it's 7 million viewers, and only some bits of it are left. So it got an average view count. It didn't get a great view count, if I've got to be honest. It didn't do very well. Apparently the working title for this story includes Under the Sea and Atlanta and the Fish People. Under the Sea sounds better than Atlanta and the Fish People. I mean, it's the plot is like it works, but not with the plot works, but the script that comes along with the plot doesn't really fit in, because it's quite over dramatized with some of the actors, especially because Patrick Troughton apparently said that he was a bit wary about the script itself and the story in general. And I know that Joseph First, who plays Professor Zaroff, I think the speech he says, "Nothing is the world can stop me now." I think that's one of the most famous lines because of how dramatic it is. But yeah, I watched a story at the BFI. Now it was okay. I've got to be honest, this is the first story out of 4 episodes I'm reviewing. So I'm doing the Underwater Menace, the Moonbase, the Macro Terror, and the Faceless ones, and it's a random choice, but it just works. But 2 episodes are missing of the story, and one of the people in this cast, Colin Jeavons, later appeared in Doctor Who spin-off pilot K9 and Company. And Noel Johnson later played Sir Charles Grodin in Invasion of the Dinosaurs. Peter Stevens previously appeared in The Last Celestial Toymaker. So, a book was released. The author was Nigel Robinson. The cover artist was Alistair Pearson, and it was part of the Target novelizations. The release number was 129. The publisher was Target Books. Publication date was 21st of July 1988, and that's it. The book was released. I haven't read it, so I can't tell you if it's better or not. So in February 2005, I think off-air recordings of the soundtrack, these were released on CD, so off-air recordings were released on CD, and they were accompanied by linking narration from Anneka Wills. Episode 3 was released on VS in 1998, along with the documentary The Missing Years, that later included the Lost in Time DVD set. Several brief surviving clips were also included, so I don't think much of it was left. But apparently, this script was only originally made for Polly, the second Doctor, Ben, Polly and Jamie. The second Doctor, Ben and Polly. So Jamie was Jamie was sort of just quickly put there, which it's good, but I feel like Jamie doesn't work as well in the stories, in this type of story, especially compared to like stories later on, like the Evil of the Daleks and the Faceless ones. He doesn't work as well in the story because he's only just like adjusting, and he was just written into the script last minute. So I guess that's why. I don't think he got like any like lines from other people, but I do feel like he didn't get enough chance in this story, especially it being his second story only. It's like, why? So I'm just like confused about why that is. So yeah, I mean, an animated reconstruction of the serial was released in November 2023 as part of the program's 60th anniversary. That is what I watched. But let's move on to the plot. So I not enjoyed the story. It was good, I'll give it that. It's not my favourite one out of all of these, and I have watched every single one of these stories. I'm a huge fan of the second Doctor and season 4 in general. One of my favourite seasons, along with season 25. The story, as I said, the plot isn't bad. It's I think it was how it's made was bad. Like, a lot of people said it looked cheap and stuff, but I don't think I will be able to see like episode 1 and 4. Because some people based it off the reconstruction and the fact that the acting wasn't like, it was overacted, as I've already mentioned. But yeah, it was a pretty solid story. It probably won't, compared to the stories now, it doesn't held up together as well as the other ones. In this, there are sensor clips surviving. I think it's the sensor clip of Polly being turned into a fish, which was removed in Australia because it is quite. It's not really graphic, but you know, if you're a child watching that, a bit scary. Especially if you're watching it through like a hospital TV at that time. Apparently, a nurse complained or something that it was because only Australia cutted that out, so that's how you got Australian like surviving clips from, like, to remove all the bad stuff, what they thought was the bad stuff. So people in hospitals, especially kids, were quite scared, like they were nightmares, because they were in hospitals and there's Polly being turned into a fish in the cliffhanger of episode 1. I mean, episode 1, probably the best episode out of all of them, honestly. The reconstruction I've never watched. I can't deal with reconstruction. I never watched the original DVD. I've watched all of the animation. I got hooked with that because I do quite enjoy animations, and the Doctor animations, like, they're really enjoyable. But animation team is Evil of the Daleks. It's a difficult story to work with because it's just, some people say it's like doesn't make any sense and stuff. I mean, I feel like it makes sense, but it just isn't a great story in general, and there's not that many reasons people hate on it apart from the fact it's it it's enjoyable to watch. You can laugh at it quite a bit actually. It's got a bit of too much like comedy, but I'm gonna say it was cheap, but the fish people looked cheap, so maybe they were a bit cheap, to be honest. But yeah, I feel like that is literally just it. There's not much to talk about the story because there actually isn't. The plot doesn't build up as it goes, it's just one plot. An evil government's take over the world, it's a base under siege, Atlanta's under siege, Professor Zaroff dies, Polly screams a bit more, Polly gets kidnapped, blah 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 blah. Jamie and Ben do Jamie and Ben stuff. And yeah, that's about it. They go into mines. Oh, was that in the Macro Terror? No, they go into like mines and stuff and help out down there. That's quite interesting because they get along with like the characters. But yeah, I got to be honest, they are my favourite TARDIS team, but sometimes I don't work in some stories, especially since like those days it was all about getting the companions kidnapped, captured, like by in and out of being captured most of the time. So there's not much to some of the old stories because they're just captured and kidnapped a bit more. So apart from that, it was pretty good. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's episode and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.